Thank you, TP. So it's a bit late in the day to be very serious, so I will, what I'll do is basically I will give you a brief overview of the ICTS and what we are doing and what we plan to do in the future. Okay, so the International Center for Theoretical Sciences of TIFR is a new initiative in Indian science and is supposed to play a catalytic role in enhancement of research and also to provide a platform for science education and human resource development. And the way we have been thinking about how to do this is, in some sense we would like to see a certain transformation of the way people do research, being brought about by a very carefully conceived set of high quality programs and embedded short conferences overseen by an excellent and diverse permanent faculty and visiting faculty. That's in the future. Presently what we do is that we have these programs of very high quality which are organized elsewhere because we don't have a campus yet. I'll come to that at the end. The second point is to provide a platform and resources for researchers to congregate over extended periods of time, encouraging cross-disciplinary immersions and collaborations, bringing theory face-to-face experiment. All this is happening in this meeting actually, and the meeting that was previously held at IUCAA in Pune. Incubating important new emerging areas of research, what are the new things to do, and helping also, sometimes some new area of research can be created in one of these meetings. That'll be fantastic actually. And we'd like to foster important research areas in which the local effort also needs to be enhanced actually. So there's a sort of a multi-purpose outlook over here. And the other thing which I am very sort of passionate about, and many of us who are involved in this, is that we should actually develop our community, our resources, human resources. And the ICTS facilities actually eventually when they come up will be adapted and used for programs in science education and communication, refresher courses for college and university teachers, and in science and mathematics. We have this service informatique which has open courseware freely available to students and researchers. In fact, even presently all the material we gather from the ICTS programs is on our website. I'll say more about it later. And it's very important to generate greater enthusiasm for science among high school and college students by providing opportunities for interaction with renowned scientists, propagating the scientific temper in civic society, etc. All these things many other institutions are doing, but I think any number of more institutions thinking of these things will not be enough for our country. Okay, so now let me give you a highlight of the activities actually. Why what we thought about doing, and can range from rapid response short time workshops to programs lasting several months. In fact, And the idea is to provide the environment, facilities that will enhance the creative process, interactions, etc. So the numbers are nice. We have already organized since September 2007 56 programs across the landscape of science, which I will show you. And 15 are coming up in the next year. Over 2,000 talks, over 2,600 participants, Indian and people from abroad, around 1,400 plus speakers, and over 600 program days actually. So this is what we have done already in these few years. And what it shows you is that the need for ICTS is amply vindicated by the response of the science community within and outside India. When we began, we had a certain budget proposal. We were worried whether we'll be able to ever use that type of money. But today, I can tell you that we fell short of our budget because of the extraordinary demand for many of these programs. Okay, so I'll just go through the basic, what shall I say, the different types of things that we have done. So there are interdisciplinary programs. I'm not going to give you a list of all of them. And these programs emphasize on activities in areas overlapping traditional fields of science, keeping in mind that strength in individual disciplines lends to fruitful interdisciplinary collaborations. So I'm not an advocate of interdisciplinary science without having strength in individual disciplines. So these are some of the programs that we have done. So let me just, data assimilation research program, then scientific discovery through intensive data exploration. So large data science is very important and emphasized. These are one of the most important programs we have held in last year. The application of the programs in engineering, control theory, complex systems, particle physics, biology, strings to LHC, and so forth. So we can go on. Then there are programs in which actually there are, long-term schools are involved. Like, for example, this program in Cosmology and Gravitation. And there is a program going on in Bangalore actually, right now, on condensed matter physics. That's also a 3-week program. So there are lots of students, over 120 students are attending that program. And I know that since the last 5 years, these programs are being held, the students in India are becoming more and more confident. You can see them asking more and more questions. And so that's a good feeling actually, that something good is coming out of all this. These are the measures. So, okay, so these are a few illustrations of the type of thing we are doing. And as I mentioned before, the service informatic facility lectures programs are achieved, which are, are archived on the website, but we are in the process of making everything available on YouTube and also on the iTunes University actually. Okay, so if you go to iTunes, on the left-hand side, you will see an iTunes U. So that is now functioning as a repository of, for example, lectures of the ICTP in Trieste. So we also plan to do that. Okay, so also it's very important for us to forge international linkages, and a couple of them we have already done, like the Asian School and Lattice Field Theory. That's the cyclical programs, once here, once in Japan. And the 4th Asian Winter School on Strings, Particles and Cosmology is organized by Korea, Japan, China, and India, and it has a 4-year cycle actually. So next January, the school is in Japan, for example. Then there's a Pan-Asian Number Theory Workshop and Conference. And also I would like to say that the ICTS is has taken the initiative from India to be participant in the mathematics of planet Earth. So 2013 is the year of planet Earth, in which lots of institutions all over the world, including the ICTS, are planning programs and outreach programs about mathematics, actually. Mathematics which is ubiquitous for the world around us, not just a very pure and abstract mathematics that is also important, but mathematics of climate, weather, health, epidemiology, astronomy, etc., etc. Large data systems, whatever. So I think this is something which we are doing in a very serious way. There are other activities which have been very, very successful. So we have these Chandrasekhar lectures, and they were patterned after the Loeb lectures at Harvard, but actually we took them beyond the type of lectures that are held in Harvard, in the sense that we not only invite eminent academicians to give these lectures, means 1 plus 2 or 1 plus 3. But we organize a workshop around the topics of these lectures, and which have been extremely successful actually. So I mean, the last one we had was on applied string theory, quantum phases of matter, and so on. So we had one on, I think one page just disappeared, but I wanted to tell you we had a fantastic series by Lyman Page on observing the birth of the universe. It was quite something, I must say. Okay, so the Chandrasekhar lectures are there. And the present one, there is a series going on presently in Bangalore on the problem of turbulence, actually, by Uriel Frisch. And the one that is coming up in January is on random matrix theory, actually, by Satya Majumdar, who is one of our old students, actually. So very proud to have an old student of TIFR giving these Chandrasekhar lectures. Okay, and we have now instituted a new series in the mathematical sciences, since next year is the 125th birth anniversary of Srinivasa Ramanujam. So we have a Ramanujam lecture series, and the first lecture is going to be Peter Sarnak from Princeton. So on number theory, basically. Okay, so these are some of the activities. Then we have short discussion meetings, which have been very useful. And there are public lectures. And we had this incredible set of 4 public lectures just day before yesterday in Bombay by Richard Bond, Jonathan Ellis, Jim Peebles, and Kip Thorne on the universe unraveled. We had 1,000+ audience in the Homi Bhabha auditorium, lots of students, lots of questions. You feel good about it, actually. And there are many others, actually, also over here. So public lectures. So here it is, Observing the Birth of the Universe by Lyman Page. Then there are new initiatives. Now this is very important. ICTS wants to really think of what are the new areas of science to, strengthen or develop in India. And one of the areas which I'm very keen on is the question of doing biology outside of biology institutions, which is I cannot go into details of the importance of that issue, but we just had a discussion meeting on biology, actually, which I organized, in systems neuroscience and systems biology in Bangalore, and we want to see what we can do in that area. I also mentioned about large data science. I think this is an extremely important area in which lots of sciences meet, actually. Lots of people are dealing with large data. So we had a very important meeting in which people from CERN came, people from astronomy, from computer science, mathematics, biology, all dealing with large data, shared their experiences, and I think this was an extremely important meeting because it fed into some important decisions about the 12th five-year plan of the government of India. Okay, so ICTS has been useful even there. And now the other thing which I want to mention to you is that I think it's very important for institutions, actually. We have a lot of flexibility because we are not a big institution, so we can do a lot of things without asking too many people. So we want to offer a platform, and we have, for new initiatives. So one of the important new initiatives is this Bylite project, which is the Bangalore Open Research Exchange Facility for Global Scientific Cooperation. So it's basically trying to set up a pilot project for a large data high-speed network between the Bangalore institutions, just as a pilot project to demonstrate that something like this can be done, which is then connected to an international science network like Gloriad, for example. It's an American science network. So this is, ICTS has offered a platform, and we are doing this. It has also offered a platform for LIGO India. I'm very firmly in support of this very important endeavor that is happening in India, and I just hope that it all works out. So we are, whatever little help we can give will be always available for people in Bangalore. And I think if Bangalore turns out to be the place where the experiment will be done, because you may just be lucky to get the land there in a good seismically safe zone, then I think ICTS can definitely be counted on actually. Okay, so there are other platforms about Asian schools which I mentioned, and also the Year of Planet Earth. All right, this is all about programs, but ICTS will also have in-house research areas, okay? In the sense that we'll have our own faculty and our own students and postdocs and all that. We're a small institution like the KITP or ICTP or the Institute for Advanced Studies at Princeton. And the areas we want to focus on are, I mean, this is some sort of a wish list actually. I mean, you can grow an area only if you can find the right gardener actually to grow those plants. Cosmology, gravitation, elementary particles, string theory. This is the area from which I come, and many of the people who thought of ICTS actually come from this very abstruse area of science called string theory. But here we are. Condensed matter and statistical physics, obvious, and biology theory, which I mentioned, and mathematics actually. But the mathematics, we'd like to hire mathematicians who talk to other people actually. That's very important. And it's a very complicated issue, especially in a small institution actually, to have mathematicians really, and there are mathematicians like that, of course. So hopefully, if we can get some, we'll hire them. And as I said before, I think ICTS our architectural plan contains a modern data center, and we definitely will invest in large-scale computational science actually, depending on who comes. Okay. And the faculty search and induction is on. I will not go into those details, but I'm just trying to say that in all these areas, if there are people interested in joining us, please do write to us actually, and we'll be happy to consider you. So there are lots of good young people here. So now, present location. We are presently located at the TIFR Center building in the Indian Institute of Technology. Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Okay. So we have a place there. It's our place, and we run our operations in Bangalore. We have an office there. There are offices. There is a small data center coming up in Bangalore, and this is the place from where we are actually building our campus. And one very important thing as to why this place is in Bangalore is because it is in the vicinity of institutions like the Indian Institute of Science, which is one of India's biggest institutions, the NCBS, that's the National Center for Biological Sciences of Tata Institute, then Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Applicable Mathematics. So TIFR has already 2 centers in Bangalore, and this is the 3rd one. So it is. Okay, this is where we are. Those who know Bangalore, where ICTS or TIFR is. The important location is the new airport. You can see that. It's very important that we are not very far from the new airport. And this is where the Indian Institute of Science is also underlying that. You can see it on the map actually. So this is the academic ecosystem of the ICTS. Okay. The campus architectural plan is ready, and we are now in the process of selecting the construction company. This campus will have academic facilities, housing facilities, recreational facilities, medical facilities, so that those who come there want to come again. That is the point. And we hope we succeed actually. It's not very easy to do this in India. I mean, we have our own issues. But I hope, all your support and that we will succeed in doing this. finally, I'd like to express my thanks for all the participants and lecturers in this program who came, and the audience over here. I want to thank the international and local organizing committees that have worked very hard to bring about this extraordinary program, where we have assembled people from cosmology, from astrophysics, from string theory, so quantum gravity, etc. So it's quite a coming together, and especially I would like to thank Tejinder, Singh, Tarun, Souradeep, and Subhabrata, Majumdar. These are the people I was interacting with all the time. There may be others, so they will thank them for their extraordinary efforts. Finally, I'd also like to thank and acknowledge the involvement of IUCAA actually for partnering this entire program, because 2 of the 3 programs of this time are actually being hosted in IUCAA, because we have no other place to do it actually. So thank you for that also. Thank you very much.